Are you constantly worrying about your doubt? Do you feel that you have to believe that your desire is yours in order to manifest it? If you have those problems with doubts and beliefs, and they are in the way between you and your desire, or you think that they are in the way, this video is for you. So be sure to watch all the way to the end because I am going to explain to you why doubts don't matter and why you don't need to believe to manifest your desires. And I'm going to use one of the most famous examples from Neville that is right in front of your eyes, but you've never noticed that this could be the answer to your questions so you wouldn't worry about doubts and beliefs anymore. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing that you have to keep in mind is that you are the I am. You are source. You are God within. And the first and most important reason why doubts and disbelief don't matter, it's because of that. You, as the I am, as source, as God, doesn't matter how you want to call it exactly, since you are that, since you are the I am, you are above and beyond your doubts and disbelief. Because doubts and disbeliefs come from the limited you, your limited ego self that thinks rationally and that always wants to prove something, explain something, rationalize about something. But your I am, your God self, who you truly are at the source, doesn't care about that at all. So you can, and I have manifested big desires while having doubts. So I don't even need anyone to prove that to me. Yes, you can manifest desires, big desires, having doubts. And yes, I manifested many things while I didn't truly believe it 100% until I saw it. Okay? But let's go a step further. When Neville gave that very famous ladder experiment exercise to his students, he told them to go up and down, up and down, and up and down a ladder for 3 nights in a row. He told them, before you go to sleep, close your eyes and go in imagination and start going up and down a ladder. And then fall asleep. You don't even have to fall asleep while doing it. It's okay if you do it and then, you fall asleep afterwards. But as long as you do it for 3 nights in a row, you go up and down a ladder and then, you fall asleep right away or a bit later. It doesn't matter. But then what did he tell them to do? To push the button a little bit further, so to speak. He told them to write down on several pieces of paper, I will not climb a ladder. I will not climb a ladder. He told them to write that they would not climb a ladder and put those papers all over the house so they could see them all throughout the day, right? So in other words, what did he tell them to do? Well, he told them to create doubt, right? Many people have asked me, why did Neville do that? And I'm not in Neville's head. I don't know exactly why he did that. But this is one obvious explanation that a few mornings ago rather, I woke up with that idea. Oh my God, I had like a download, like I often have when I wake up in the morning. That's what Neville meant. He wanted his students to create doubt to show them that doubts don't prevent your manifestation if you've been there in imagination. So, this is why your doubts don't matter. Because what happened to those students? Well, they did exactly what Neville told them. So they went to sleep 3 nights in a row, going up and down a ladder. And then they wrote down, I will not climb a ladder, and put those papers here and there in the house so they could read that sentence, I will not climb a ladder. Yet, what happened to them? And what happened to you if you've tried that? And if you haven't tried this experiment, please do. I have tried it many years ago. And of course, it worked for me as well. And it's been the same thing for everyone I know who has tried this experiment. So Neville's students, indeed, they climbed the ladder, even though they had created doubts as per the instructions of Neville. They had created doubts, saying and writing, I will not climb a ladder. And why did they? Because they went there, they had been there in imagination first. So, whatever your desire is, if you go, as Neville was tired of saying, if you go to the end of your wish fulfilled in imagination, it could be a visual, it could be an audio, it could be touch, it could be none of it. It could be just assuming that it's done. If you go to the end of your wish fulfilled in imagination and you do it a few nights in a row, so you can impress yourself, so you can impress that state within yourself. And once you impress a state within yourself, once you occupy a state of consciousness well enough, some people it takes only one time. It could take 3, 4, 5, 2 weeks. It doesn't matter. Once you feel that you have impressed your inner self with being that person, with that state, that identity, it doesn't matter if you have doubts afterwards, because you will, trust me, your ego will make sure that doubts show up here and there. But once you know and you trust that imagination is divine in origin, that imagination is God, and if I've been there in God, in imagination, I've been there, I am that. And my little doubts that my little ego self is creating don't matter. So let me give you an example that happened to me, something that I've manifested a few months ago. A few months ago, I don't know what happened. The dashboard of my car was dead. When I turned the car on, the dashboard was completely dead, not a single light. I couldn't even hear the blinkers, the turning signals. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't see anything. It was like dead. I went to my little local mechanic, and as soon as I told him about the problem of my car, he said, oh boy, no, I can't even do that. You have to call the manufacturer of the car. So I said, okay. And this is something I really didn't want to do. And I thought about it for a few hours, and I was like, oh boy, I don't want to do this. I don't want to call the manufacturer of the car and having to make an appointment and having to take my car over there, God knows when, because usually it takes a while between the time you actually make the appointment and the time you can actually take the car there. So that evening, I said, you know what? I don't need to call the manufacturer of the car. I am going to imagine that the dashboard of my car is back to life. So that night, and I did that only one night, right? That's what I said earlier. You don't have to do it 3 times or 4 times or for 2 weeks or 2 months. Sometimes one time is enough. When you have no resistance, it's enough, right? So that evening, before I went to sleep, I closed my eyes. I took a few deep breaths to calm down, to focus on my imaginal act, because I wanted to make sure I did an imaginal act in that case, right? So I turned my car on. I turned the ignition of the car on in imagination, and the car started normally. The dashboard lit up and everything was fine. And in my imagination, I was like, I felt a relief. It's working. And then I went to sleep. The next day, I didn't even remember. I didn't even think about my imaginal act of the night before. I didn't even think about my car at all until I had to take the car few hours later. It was not before like late afternoon or something. When I got into the car, I turned the car on. I didn't even remember that the dashboard was dead the last time I took the car. And not only the last time, but for a few days before I decided to go to my mechanic. And then I decided to, oh, I'm going to imagine it's working. So I had completely this thing dead for a few days, right? And I'm in my car and I'm forgetting it all. I turn the car on, and it's only as I see the lights of the dashboard lighting up that I'm realizing, oh, oh boy, it is working. And I felt pretty much the same feeling that I had felt the night before in imagination. And my dashboard has been working ever since. Never took it anywhere. So that's what imagination does, guys. I have manifested many little and big things. For example, if I lose an object, I love to do those little imaginal acts, implying that I found my object. I have it in my hand. If I lost my keys, I imagine that I have my keys in my hands, and it always works. It doesn't matter what it is. So it doesn't matter if you've lost your keys, if there is something broken in your car, or if you want money, or if you want a specific person, it's all the same. There is no difference whatsoever. Only you, your own judgment, your rational ego self-judgment makes a difference. But as far as the law is concerned, there is none. Now, let's talk about beliefs. When you imagine that you are the person who has whatever it is that you want, whether you want your car to be working, whether you want to find your keys, whether you want to be married or wealthy, once you imagine and feel that you are this person and you manage to entertain that state to the point that it becomes your dominant state, you don't need to believe because you already are. To me, I don't know about you, but if I need to believe in something, it's because I am not that. But if I am, if in imagination I feel wealthy, I feel loved, I feel whatever the heck I want to be, I don't need to believe because I am above beliefs. You see what I mean? You only are worried about believing when you're not at all in the state, in the identity of the person that you want to be. But once you're there, belief doesn't even matter. So, guys, please remember that in order to manifest your desires, you don't have to believe because you already do. You are above and beyond the belief because you already are the person who already has their desires. And your little doubts, they don't matter. Because once you have been who you want to be in imagination and you maintain that state, you maintain that identity, you are that person, it's okay to have doubts. You have been there in imagination, you are there within. Doubts don't matter. So if you have doubts, remember that little experiment from Neville where he told his students to create doubts to show them that those doubts, they would not matter whatsoever and they would climb a ladder. And they did. So I hope this video was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, comment, and share it if you can. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.